Welcome to our In the Blue with Facebook Live. This is Dr. Cory Frogley, your host. Welcome this beautiful December morning. We are broadcasting from the beautiful snowy hills of Salt Lake City. And as we get rolling today, we thought with the holiday season and your shopping days are limited, we thought we might jump into an important topic, which is about being happy. And this study blew me away when we looked at this, and it shared that 1 out of 3 Americans, and if you're in your own country, it's probably very similar, but only 1 out of 3 people are happy. And that's real. Like, we come in contact with people every day that put up a front, but in their own personal world, they are dealing with something. And let's face it, as human beings, we are not very good at being vulnerable. We are the ones who put up the front, tell everybody it's okay, we're not struggling, when in reality, we're worried about today's economy, we're worried about the job market, we're worried about family matters, personal relationships, different things like that we're going to deal with today and are not necessarily easy topics. So there's one key, and I'm going to share that with you today. And if you can master this one thing, your life will change. And I'm sharing that with you from personal experience. So stay tuned. Don't drop off, because we're going to go over some pretty incredible content today. So as we look at what makes you happy, let's talk for a second about this quest, this pursuit, because so many people are in this quest of going after power, after money, after material things. And I'm telling you from a personal experience that I've been a dirt poor student, and I've now been in a position where I don't live paycheck to paycheck anymore, and it's a beautiful thing. And I'll tell you, I'm happier now than I was back then as a dirt poor student, but it's not because of what I have. And that's what we're going to go over today, the one thing that has changed in my life, that has completely affected my happiness. And that's what you're staying in tune for today. So, this is very evident when we look at today's news. You pick up a newspaper and you're hearing about people that are literally falling from their glory, the places they've climbed to of accolation and praise, because they're searching after other things, and things that they think are bringing them temporary happiness when actually they're bringing them destruction. So I want to talk about finding your ICP, your inner core passion. It's the thing that drives you. And it's funny because we grow up in a culture that starts off your life as a small kid with this question: what do you want to be when you grow up? How many times have you heard that question or asked your own kids that question? And for me, it was very different. I grew up with a father who was a chiropractor, an uncle who was a dentist, very familiar with those worlds. I am the youngest of 10 kids, 7 boys, 6 of us became chiropractors, so it had a big impact on our family. And so for me, being that young kid, I didn't have that same question you did. In fact, my question was, are you going to be a chiropractor when you grow up? It was just inferred. It was assumed. Now, lucky for me, I did. I really wanted to provide that same health care that my father provided for our family. And it's been a beautiful profession for me. But I'm going to share with you a struggle that I went through, that I had to find my ICP, because as much as I was passionate about chiropractic, and I am, there were more things that I was passionate about, and I had to go through a discovery. Now, in healthcare, whether you're a dentist, whether you're a chiropractor, a nurse practitioner, a medical doctor, we go through this process of teaching patients to listen to their body. So many people are out of touch with what's happening in their body, and so they don't know when to react in the early stages, and it's not till something is blaring and screaming in their ears of pain that they take action. But as we're learning and becoming questing after longevity and learning to listen to our bodies in earlier phases of problems, we can react sooner, we can take action sooner. It's learning to listen to that inner voice, learning to listen to our body, that your being will reveal to you what your inner passion is. And when you identify that, you can begin your quest for chasing that dream. And that's really where your life begins to change when that happens. So the internal world you have to get connected into. And I'll tell you, if there's one thing that has changed me in my quest and my discovery of happiness, it's that. It's identifying and taking the time to meditate, to connect with my inner world, to listen. And I'll share with you a little bit about how that happens in detail, because when you discover that, your entire external world changes. And I know what you're doing. I know you're searching after a better practice. I know you're searching after a better paycheck at the end of the day, more profits, scaling your business, and that's what BlueIQ is all about, is tools to scale your practice. But none of those tools mean anything unless your external world and your internal world come into balance. Now, let me share with you a study, and I'm sure that you've already discovered this study because it's a big one. And we learned that back in the 60s, the sugar industry pulled the wool over the eyes of the entire population by paying scientists to falsify documents. Big shocker that happens, but it happens every day, unfortunately. That sugar doesn't cause cancer, and that it's all fats problems, or heart disease, I'm sorry. Sugar doesn't cause heart disease. It's all fats problem. They paid the scientists to produce that data, and they bought and paid for the research that then, if you remember growing up, that the craziest stuff, advertising came out on the market of fat-free candy. Like, that was supposed to mean that it's healthy for you because there's no fat in this bag of Twizzlers. I know you've seen that advertising. And you know what? They sold more sugar. They've pushed their sugar on us. But really, if you thought about it, and if you took the time and you consumed a bunch of sugar, have you seen how diabetes has skyrocketed? Have you seen how cancers have skyrocketed? Now, it's not all just sugar. There's a lot of things that play into it. But think about that. If you listen to your internal voice, you knew that consuming a ton of sugar was not the healthiest choice. And it's funny because you look at the nutritional market now, and we understand how important good fats are. Cutting out fats out of your diet is one of the worst things that you can do for yourself. Eating the wrong fats is bad for you, but eating the right fats, the avocados and the coconut oil and the raw olive oil, those are the things that your body has to have. It's the precursors of your hormones. It's the things that allow your endocrine system to be balanced and functioning. So if you're struggling with energy, if you're struggling with feeling great and inflammation, these are your inflammation squelchers. It's the sugars that drive inflammation and ruin your ability to regulate the inflammatory process. So the reason why I share with this is because so many people are seeking after gratification. It was okay to eat sugar, so they went after sugar. And that has really destroyed the health of our population, and we're paying the price in our healthcare systems, our insurance companies, all of those things has had a multi-billion dollar effect on our economy in this lie that was proposed. The reason why I share this is because you've got to find when your internal environment and your external environment match. That's homeostasis. That's balance. And what you are seeking after has to be in balance with true principles, not falsified information. And if you grew up in a home where your belief system is that happiness comes from having, you're wrong. Having money, having things, being attractive is not what brings happiness. And so the secret here is how you start your day. How you start your day matters. And if you're waking up and the alarm goes off, your eyes open, and you're immediately reactive to the stresses of the day, you're going to have a hard time getting through your day, and you're really going to have a hard time discovering happiness. Morning routines are one of the most important things in my life. It's the time when I can go through the process of turning my mind from seeking after gratification, because that's a very natural thing to think about, to where and who needs me? What can I create today that then serves mankind? And I've listened to several podcasts this week, and one of the big ones is the big takeaways I had from this is you want to be a billionaire, then serve a billion people. Create something that solves a problem for a billion people. And with the way our economy and markets changing and scaling and with technology, the world in which we live today will not be the world we live in 5 years from now. You look at the world 5 years ago, it has changed so much, and that change is going to continue to accelerate. And if your head is not on straight and your mind's not turning outward and it's always inward of have, you're not going to have. It's going to slip through your fingers, and you're not going to be who you need to be to solve the problems you need to solve for other people. So your morning routine has to go through a process of connecting to your thought leaders. Because if we just leave our own thoughts to themselves, they become very woe is me. So who do you connect with first in the thing of the morning? Who's your thought inspiration? That is what these broadcasts are for, is to help you, again, in a very digestible time frame, turn your mind outward. Get your head on straight. Get your thought path the way it needs to be. I go through a morning workout routine, a morning nutritional routine. I go through my meditation, and I connect, and I allow the time for my inner self to turn outward and begin connecting with the outer universe, to align with that, to identify the problems that need to be addressed today, the people that I serve, my team members, so that when I walk in the door, I show up. I'm here, all of me. And part of me is still not off back at home thinking, woe is me and my problems that I'm dealing with. Those morning routines are sacred. And when done properly, you will go into your day as a completely different human being. So where happiness comes from is that us as human beings are really the happiness when we're creating something to serve mankind. And you're in that process of creating your practice, creating a business that not only provides jobs for important key people, that when your head is on straight, you attract the right team members and you connect to the right team members for the right reasons. And then you're building a facility that just serves and solves problems and feels different because you're showing up in a different way. This is a blog article that I wrote a couple of years ago that I would encourage you to read. Go to our getblueiq.com and to our blog. Subscribe to that if you're not, because our team really puts a tremendous amount of energy into this. And it's about being a multi-potentialite. It's about identifying your inner core passion. And for me, my journey came from being a provider, right, healthcare provider, to wanting to create scalable tools for business owners and healthcare to have the data that they needed at their fingertips to make intelligent decisions in seconds. And that's what BlueIQ is all about. It's connecting your team through meaningful data. And then IQ is providing content, rich content that gets your head on straight, that provides you tools to give to your team members, whether that's technology or training. We are going to connect you to what you need to scale your business and serve the greater population. Because again, when that's correct, that's when you have everything that you're seeking for. You've got to get the be first, who you're going to be, and that's where the happiness comes from. If you did not tap into our most recent blog, again, a big shout out to Tosh for putting this together. Stop externalizing your quest for wholeness. This is what it's all about, becoming whole. And that's what BlueIQ is committed to, helping you become whole, helping your team become whole, helping your practice become healthy, and in the blue, because that's what In the Blue is all about. Thank you for joining us today. You've now watched In the Blue on Fridays. We are here every Friday at 10 a.m. I'm excited about our guest next week. Please join with us with Neil. He's amazing. We are talking about transitions and getting your business and practice transition to the point where you're ready to step into a whole new experience in your life of setting the practice aside now and turning your attention to the rest of your life. And there's so many ways you can dedicate that to serving and changing people's lives. And that's the transitional process that Neil is amazing at helping you in the transition with. Thank you for joining us today. Happy holidays. Can't wait to see you next week. Have a good one. Thank you.